Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier with a very special COVID vaccination report. I'm here for shot number 2, and I guess I'm doing these videos just to chronicle the experience, but also I do have friends and perhaps people out there in YouTube land that might be saying, oh, gee whiz, I'm not going to get a COVID shot, and people are, and I can't look, I'm not going to argue with you, but I think if you look at the numbers and not the headlines, or look at the numbers behind the headlines and see the percentage of people that have had some type of side effect or whatever versus the safety or the freedoms that you'll get if you do get this COVID shot, make your own decisions. But I do have a few friends that are afraid or don't want to get these shots or think it's all a government scam. But I guess I'm going to go with the smart money is to go ahead and get the COVID shot. I know people personally that are doctors that are getting these COVID shots. I believe you could also request which type of shot you want to get. So if you do have a preference of company, you can make your preference known. And I know that their major stumbling block is that this Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been put on pause and everyone's upset, and but sometimes, folks, you just have to go with your instincts, and I'm going with mine. And but once again, I'm not going to argue to the point of infinity with anybody about this thing. If you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it. But there's also, if you're on the fence, there's going to be these cards that you're getting with these COVID shots. I have one right now. And if you don't have your full vaccine card filled out, it's going to be tough in some regard, perhaps for travel or whatever, when maybe we don't even know what happens yet. Another thing for those that do get the COVID vaccines, make sure you keep your card and photocopy it a couple of times, get it laminated. Apparently Office Depot and Staples and other places, maybe Office Max if that's still around, they are doing laminations and copies. I guess you want to get your original copied and then have the copy laminated. You don't want to laminate the original in case they have to add other info to it. And hey, folks, this is a brave new world we're in. Look, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, these were not concerns, but now they are. So I'm not happy about it. You're not happy about it. But what I am happy about is supposedly this Pfizer and Moderna are like 95%. If you get these vaccines, you're good for 95%, and so I'm going to give it a shot, so to speak. I want to give the shot a shot. I do want to reflect a bit on this pandemic and just a personal narrative, and if it doesn't apply to you, obviously it doesn't. It's just me, but I'll give myself a grade of a B+ for how I've handled this pandemic. I haven't been a total shut-in, but I have curbed my social activity as well. I've never been a big bar or nightclub guy. I'm more of a coffee shop gentleman, but because I'm not much of an alcohol drinker. I mean, that's how I keep my face so young and fresh. I'm not much of an alcohol drinker or a smoker. And so the bars and the nightclubs and the hostels and all these places that people go to, not my scene much anyway. And I do enjoy public places with small crowds. So some of this, limited crowds at some venues like this Daly's place for AEW wrestling. Some of you have been enjoying my AEW wrestling clips. When I visited some people in Orlando, I've been going to Disney, I must admit, where it's you get your temperature checked, you get masked, you have to wear a mask. I've done these Disney adventures. I've gone to movies. I've done Mike's Instant Movie Review. You could say that I had a pretty active pandemic in some regard. At the same time, I have kept my distance from people. I've kept some things distant, so it's kind of a yes and a no. And many days I say, man, how can I kill the day? How can I entertain myself, or how can I get through this day? And a lot of times it's going to a park, it's shooting some basketball hoops, it's walking on the beach. So like I said, I give myself a B+. As far as creatively, I've done a lot of Podcasts, as you may or may not know, BARRY PRIMUS, my own acting coach, Tom Kane, well-respected film producer, Michael McGLONE, the GEICO man, has been on the Mike Messier podcast twice. Great conversations, all of which, by the way, you can enjoy right here on the Mike Messier YouTube channel. I've also been promoting my own book. I mean, during this pandemic, I wrote and I published a book, and with great artwork from the Czar Germanov, international artisan. I have the book right here, so that's very exciting. Everyone's excited to order that on Amazon and support me. And of course, some people were supposed to do some promotion for me and they haven't, but that's okay. But yes, many podcasts have featured me. The Geeks podcast, the Angry Geeks podcast, the Dads with Beards podcasts, Jeff podcast. I'm drawing a blank on how I'm trying to pronounce his Manticalino, nice guy. I'm sorry, Jeff. Mancalino, I'm slaughtering your name right now. I'll get it later. All these wonderful things. Another podcast I was on last week, a great guy, William Summer, and his podcast, promoting my book and so forth. And now, as far as this pandemic goes, look, I've known at least 2 people that have passed away from this horrible COVID-19. A really good friend of mine, Bob, was on just really in bad shape, but he's a fighter and he's fighting through it and he's doing better now. And I've known other people who've had it. You know, a nice actress up in New England had it. She's fought through it. And it sucks. Another buddy of mine, Monty, a friend of mine. So, you know, everyone's fighting, everyone's struggling. But that's why I'm getting this shot, folks, because I feel it, for me, you might be different, but I'm going to put my own paranoid nature aside. And for those that have that did not have the opportunity to get this vaccine shot, those that we've lost, those that suffered through this thing, friends of mine in the medical industry, my buddy Tommy's father's a doctor, his sister's a doctor. Wouldn't I be a fucking asshole if I didn't get this vaccine? If I were not to get this vaccine, wouldn't I be spitting in the very face of those that have been trying to help me and help the world, namely these doctors, these, you know what I mean, these medical professionals that are risking their lives for us? Wouldn't I be a fucking prick if I can't spend 30 minutes twice during the month to go and get this vaccine shot? What type of person would I be? So look, I'm not Mr. Groupthink or decide for other people what to do, but at some point, if everyone from, you know, Trump to Obama to Joe Biden to Kamala are getting these vaccines across all shapes and forms of political sides, what type of person are you if you're going to say, well, you know, they're all out to get me, or they're all in cahoots? I just can't go that far in my thinking. I might listen to that type of ballyhoo, but as far as some type of worldwide conspiracy, no. I'm going to say that I'm going to get this fucking vaccine and hope for the fucking best. And if my arm falls off, or if I lose my fucking mind, or if I, you know, get some adverse reaction, well, what the fuck? I took my shot. You know what I mean? I took my chances. So that's all you can do, folks. I mean, I do respect, like I said, I do understand people that are afraid to get this vaccine, or they're cautious, or whatever the fuck. But I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to think that the whole world's being poisoned by this goddamn thing. I'm just not going to go there. I actually got this diet root beer in the movie theater. But yeah, my pandemic review, you know, I did a lot of writing this year. I worked on a lot of scripts. You know, there's that whole, and I wrote the goddamn book, you know, and did a lot of wonderful things. So, I mean, I will give myself credit for this year and a half, or this year and whatever the fuck, year and a third of these pandemics. I was a masker. I fucking got the KN95s. I started early in the game before they were even telling us not to get these. I was getting these things, and then I upgraded to the KN95s, and at one point I was even wearing batting gloves, you know, and I still wear batting gloves when I get gasoline in my car. I have these gloves that I wear, so I don't want to get germs from you slimy human beings anymore. I've done my part. Here it is. When I go to the gas station, I wear I put a batting glove on, okay, because I don't trust anybody. So there you fucking have it, folks. It's Mike's. I was trying to make this was supposed to be like some goddamn Tony Robbins motivational bullshit, but I'm watching the clock. I have to go in there and get vaccinated now. So I would just say for all those that are on the fence, I'm just saying, do the goddamn research if you're still on the fence. But ultimately, I hope you decide to get your vaccine shots. Mike Messier, MikeMessier.com, Mike Messier YouTube channel, Mike's Original Films, Messier Mantra, Messier Peace Theater, award-winning, is here for you. Mike's Pro Wrestling Rants. Now I go to get a vaccine, and then you're supposed to wait 7 to 10 days before you have to wait. You're not fully whatever the fuck for 7 to 10 days. Oh boy.